Okay, so my name is Gareth Campbell, and I'm going to be talking to you about the finance degree here at Queen's. So basically, just going to chat through a few things just about what actually makes Queen's great, what do we do in finance in particular, and why might you want to come and study with us. So the first thing to emphasise about Queen's in general and about finance in particular is the real quality of experience that you're actually going to get from us. So finance is actually ranked 6th in the entire UK. So if you look at all of the different finance degrees in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, finance at Queen's is right up there as being amongst the very, very best. So you know that you're going to get a very good experience from us, and you're going to get really good opportunities from actually being with us. Queen's in general is part of this thing called the Russell Group. So high quality universities which are also committed to research. So you have academics who are very, very involved in just what's happening in the very latest aspects of their fields and can give you that leading knowledge. Queen's is ranked amongst the top universities right across the world. So we're in the top 250 according to the QS World Rankings. We're also ranked in the top 140 for graduate prospects. So if you come and study with us, you should have really good opportunities to actually get top quality graduate positions, and it will be worth your while actually studying here. Belfast also has one of the lowest student rents in the UK. So with all the different costs associated with going to university, that can be something that might also be important. Queen's has also invested very, very substantially on their various pieces of infrastructure. So over the past 10 years, we've invested £700 million. So we have one of the best campuses that you could actually experience, top quality buildings, and it's going to give you a very, very good experience while you're here. So about finance in particular then, so what is finance? What do I actually mean by that term? Well, finance is essentially about making and managing money. So it's about how do you take some money and make more money from it? And a really basic example of that might be if you're going to put your money into some sort of bank account. So you actually put in some money and then you get interest through the year and you make some more money from that. But what we tend to focus on a bit more in the finance course at Queen's is actually investing in things like maybe the stock market. So how do you take money and invest it in things like different companies, so like Apple and Facebook, and how do you make sensible decisions that you're going to then make a very, very good returns on your investments. We also look at other financial markets. So we look at how do you trade in terms of currencies. So things like the dollar, the pound, the euro. We have very complicated things called derivatives. So this is where you may be speculating on things like oil prices and gold. And we also then look at the aspect around how do you make sensible decisions in terms of maybe lending money to various customers in banks. So it's about trying to understand how do you take money, how do you invest it sensibly and make more money from that. Now, the great thing about finance is that there's an actual sector of the economy called the finance industry. And that means if you study finance that you're very, very well placed to go into this particular area. Now, within that, there's various subsectors. So we have investment banking. This would probably be the area that is most sought after. It's very competitive to get into, but there's very, very high rewards. So what you're doing there is you're basically advising large multinational companies on making sensible decisions in terms of their finances. So if maybe Google wants to buy over some other company, it goes through an investment bank. If Sainsbury's wants to buy over some other firm, or maybe Twitter wants to get listed on the stock market, they always use investment banks to actually help them with that. Fund management then is trying to manage other people's money for them. So people in the general public might not really understand what the stock market is and how it actually functions. So what they'll do is they will give over money to professional fund managers who will invest it on their behalf. So what you would be doing is saying, well, I want to invest maybe £10 million in something like maybe British Airways. I'm going to put another £20 million into maybe Uber, and you're trying to spread your money around to make the best possible portfolio for your clients. We also then have risk management. So this is where you're trying to basically control how much exposure you have if things should actually go wrong. So this is very, very important within different companies and within banks to make sure that the companies can actually survive and do well. You also have financial operations. So this is where you're trying to make sure that this whole system actually works, so that buy trades are matched up with sell trades and that money actually flows from where it's supposed to be. You have retail banking, where you're trying to make sensible decisions in terms of maybe high street banks. So how do you take in money from customers? How do you then lend it out to maybe small businesses? And some of our students will actually also then end up going into careers in accountancy. And some people wonder, well, what's the difference between finance and accountancy? Well, finance, as I say, is about investing. It's about sort of looking ahead and trying to understand what might come next and trying to make some money from it. Accounting is more about reporting what has happened in the past. So it's about trying to explain, has this company performed well? Has it made profits? So those two fields are actually quite distinct, but there's enough overlap between them that students can, if they choose finance, can also move into accountancy later if they want to do so. So in terms of what we study here in the finance course at Queen's, so we offer a really, really good range of different modules. And what we're trying to do is give you an excellent understanding so that you can go into any of those areas of finance. So we look at financial markets and institutions. So this is trying to understand, okay, well, what is the stock market? What are banks and insurance companies? How do they actually function? And why are they so important to the rest of the economy? You have maths for finance. So maths is very important in everything we do. If you're dealing with stock prices, if you're dealing with profits, you need to understand how those numbers actually work. So if you're good at maths and enjoy maths, this could be a very, very good course for you to actually apply those skills. You have investment analysis. So this is trying to understand, well, how do people make sensible decisions when they're investing? So how do you decide what companies to put your money into? How do you spread your money around different portfolios? And how do you hopefully limit the amount of risk that you have? Monetary theory is about trying to understand, okay, well, how do banks actually work? How does that relate to things like maybe the Bank of England, the maybe European Central Bank, and how is it all connected in with things like inflation? International finance is about currencies. So you have the dollar and pound and euro. Why are they all fluctuating against each other all the time? And how can you maybe actually speculate on that? Financial engineering is about trying to understand futures and options. So how do you maybe predict what's going to happen to oil prices 6 months from now? And can you actually buy contracts which will make you actually profit from any price movements? And then corporate finance is about trying to understand companies. If you're actually working as maybe the chief financial officer in some firms, how do you make sensible decisions there? So how much debt do you take on? Do you actually want to get listed on the stock market? How much do you actually pay out to shareholders? So from this range of modules and many others that we also have, hopefully you get this really good insight into what finance is, and it should get you then really, really well prepared for your future career. And a really key part then of our course is also that we ask all of our students to go out on placement and work for a large finance firm. So we do this basically because it's really very, very helpful for our students. We give you lots and lots of support. So we have this specialized placement office, and their entire job is basically to help you through getting together your CV, preparing for interviews, applying to different companies that take on our students year after year. So you get lots and lots of support. And what that does, it gets you into a very good company. And having that on your CV will then help you to stand out when you're going to apply for long-term graduate positions. And companies are actually saying in many, many cases that they will only take on people into graduate roles if they have actually some sort of experience on placement before that. What also often happens is that you can make connections with your employer. So if you do a really, really good job for them, then in many cases, you'll actually be asked back into a long-term permanent position. So this role that you've had lots of help to actually get can lead on to permanent long-term positions, which are very, very valuable. Now, we have lots of connections with many, many different top companies. So we have investment banks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, based over in London. We have companies that are more traditionally known for maybe accountancy, but which have large areas in terms of consultancy. So things like KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC. You have banks like Lloyds, you have fund managers like Citco and SIG and State Street. So lots and lots of different opportunities. You can choose to apply to companies in London or Dublin or Belfast, and we will give you some guidance about what sorts of companies you might want to focus on. That then sets our students up really, really well for these long-term roles after they actually graduate. So each year, we actually ask students after they have graduated, what are you now doing? So in the most recent survey, 92% of our students were either working or studying. So really good graduate outcomes. We had a very small fraction, only about 3% actually seeking work, and then some others who are maybe taking some sort of year out. So the vast majority of our students who want a job go into top quality positions. And it's really important actually whenever you look at these sorts of statistics is to consider what sort of job are students actually going into. And for 98% of our students, they're going into professional graduate roles. So somewhere that they're actually going to use their skills from from what they've studied at Queen's. So if you actually come and study with us, you should be confident that you're going into these top quality roles, and you're going to be set up in top quality careers. In terms of graduate employers, so we have companies like, again, the same sort of firms as we have for placement. So we have Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Bank of America. We also have firms which are quite local, like maybe First Derivatives, and they actually send their employees right across the world to like Australia, South Africa. We have banks like Barclays, and we have these consultancy firms like Ernst & Young, KPMG, Deloitte. So consistently, our students going into these top quality employers. We also then, one of the big features that we have on our finance course is this financial trading room. So this is where students actually get access to the same Bloomberg terminals as you would have in any of those big investment banks. So anyone who's actually trading in London right now is using the exact same equipment as we have access to for our students in Queen's. So it gives you this very good practical experience. It means that you're very familiar with how to use those systems. And once you go into work for your employer, you can then get this head start. So you're accessing live data, you're putting together your own portfolios, and you're researching different companies. Another big feature that we encourage our students to take part in is this student managed fund. And this is where you get access to real money. So we have £35,000 of a real money investment portfolio. You decide what to do with that. So you have complete control in terms of research and trading, and you then make decisions about what to buy and sell. And that gives our students really, really excellent practical experience, and again, sets them apart whenever they're going to apply for graduate roles. We also engage with employers, so we try to make sure that our course is very much in line with what's expected, and we are actually affiliated with the Chartered Financial Analyst Institute. We also run things like the City Scholarship schemes where students can apply, and some students then will actually work in London for a short period of time at the end of their first year. We also run study tours to London and Dublin to actually visit different companies and to get to meet employers. And then we run this forum where we speak to employers and ask them what else could we include in our courses to make it the very best that it can be. Because students are really enjoying their studies, they get this really good experience from placement, they get top quality graduate positions. That means that we're very confident that students really enjoy their time with us. And that's shown then in terms of things called the National Student Survey. So every year our students and students right across the UK are asked, have you enjoyed your time studying this course? And 95% of our students say that yes, they found it valuable and they would actually recommend it to other students. So if you come and study with us, we're confident then that you also will really enjoy your time here. Also, because of all of those various things that we've talked about, this then leads on to us being recognised as one of the top finance courses right across the entire UK. So we're consistently ranked in the top 10 in the UK by various league tables. So we have the Sunday Times, we have the Complete University Guide, and they're saying that because of the good quality students and really great experience that they get, that this is one of the best finance degrees right throughout the UK. So what do we ask from you then? Well, one sort of key requirement that we've basically put in place is that you have to be doing A-level maths. So maths basically features in lots of different topics in this course, and we find that students who are good at maths should really excel with us. So we ask that students do have that A-level maths, and then in terms of grades, we're asking for an A and 2 Bs. So we're looking for really bright students, intelligent students who are going to work hard and that can then take advantage of all the different opportunities that we make available for them. So if you enjoy maths and you're willing to actually commit to studying and to working hard, we think finance could be a very, very good choice for you. So basically, if you have any questions, please do get in touch with me. So you can contact us through askahss@qub.ac.uk. You can also search for us then on Twitter or on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please do get in touch. We're really keen to hear from students because we do think this is a really fantastic opportunity for you. And we think that you could get something really, really valuable from this experience. So thank you very much for your time, and please do get in touch.